Gentlemen, I wanted to make a video today. It's something that I've been thinking about a lot lately. And the topic of the video is being realistic. I think it's an important thing to touch on, and it's not so important for younger guys, but this video may be appealing to some of the guys that are a little bit older that are actually doing this. The reason that I'm making this video is because I have seen some things while I have been on my mission to find true love, and I just wanted to touch on it a little bit and give you a little bit of advice from somebody that has seen it and witnessed it and can understand a little bit about what's actually going on out there. So this is my video about being real when you are going to the Ukraine to find the love of your life. When it comes to the success of going over to the Ukraine or any other country for that matter, being realistic plays a huge part in whether you're going to be successful or not. If you are not realistic and you've been fed a whole bunch of rubbish by the marketing and all the stuff that's out there, you're going to go over there with some expectations and some unrealistic goals that aren't going to happen, and you're going to come back miserable because you would have failed. So what do I mean by being unrealistic? Okay, I can understand why guys are unrealistic. Well, some guys are unrealistic. The reason is because for the last 20 years, since this industry has been around, guys have been fed this bullshit that all the women in the Ukraine are desperate. They're all drop dead gorgeous, and they all want a Western guy to take them out of this horrible place, regardless of who they are, what they look like, their age, their income, all of these things. So guys are led to believe this. I mean, there are articles online. There is this stereotypical notion that guys just can go over there and choose the hottest girl they can find, regardless of her age. If she's 22 years old, she's a model, whatever, and she'll run away with you. These are not realistic, okay? And I'm not doing this video to burst some bubbles, but I'd rather I burst your bubble now than it get burst later on when you do realize what is actually going on. One thing to keep in mind is that every girl in the Ukraine does not want to leave the Ukraine.
That's impossible!
Okay? I know, it's crazy, right? This is what we thought. We thought they all want to get the hell out of there. No. I've seen videos online and I've seen people do interviews of asking girls, would you leave the Ukraine for a foreign man or for a Westerner, and or questions along those lines. And I've seen videos where it's like 1 in 8 women say yes if love was there. 1 in 10, yes, if I loved him, it didn't matter, I would go wherever with him. But the rest of them say no, I'd rather be with a Ukrainian guy. And that makes sense, right? She would rather be with a Ukrainian guy. The thing that we have in our advantage is numbers. It's a numbers game, right? There are a ton more women than there are men. Yes, the lifestyle of some Ukrainian men, a lot of Ukrainian men, is not ideal. And yes, they know that Western guys coming over here to do this are going to be better husbands, better fathers. They're going to take care of them. They have more money. There's so many better things. So there are some ladies that do think that, but it's not all of them. So we have to remember that. And that's the first part about being realistic, is realizing that they don't all just want to run away with you, regardless of your age, your physique, your job, your income, all of these things. So that's number one. So we know that, so let's just put that to the side just for now. Just for now, okay? We know that. One other thing quickly to point out is that if all the girls did want to run away with a Western guy, regardless of who that guy was, they wouldn't be scammers, right? And nobody really ever points this out, is that there are a lot of scammers over there taking advantage of guys that come over and think that they can take any Ukrainian lady or Russian lady or wherever you're going, take them out and just take them out of the country, and they can go and live with them and they'll be happy. Well, if this was the case, there'd be no scammers, right? But there are a ton of scammers, and we know that. So that's another thing that's important to think about. But we're just going to put that aside over there, just for now. So the topic of the video is being realistic, right? So how do we be realistic? Well, the first thing we need to do is get rid of this fantasy that's been marketed to us. That's the first step, okay? Once that is gone, you can be realistic about a few other points as well. Of course, the first point is always going to be age. Of course it's going to be age. That's what we need to get realistic about. If you're 60 years old looking for a 20-year-old girlfriend, not going to happen. I'm not saying it will never happen, but it's not very likely that it's going to happen. So when it comes to the age gap, I believe, from my travels and doing this, I believe that the perfect age gap is around about 10 years. Now, if you're a younger guy, say 30, it sort of doesn't apply as much. Because if you're 30, 25 to 5-year age gap, that's perfect. 20 years old, if you're 30, I believe is too young. I believe that the girl is too young. She's not going to be serious about life. Of course, it doesn't speak for all 20-year-old girls. I mean, they do get married. They do want to get married young, and they do want to have kids young at the age of 19, 20. It's almost part of their culture that they're expected to do that. But from what I've seen in the Ukraine, girls of that age are not that serious. Maybe former Soviet Union styles, maybe, but I think times are changing a little bit and we need to sort of adjust for that. So the age gap you want to be looking for is around about 10 years. And I say 10, but I really mean 10 to 15. But I don't say 15 because guys think 15, or maybe 20 is fine. I don't think so. That's just my personal opinion. 10 to 15 years. In saying that, I know a bunch of couples that have 25-year age gaps from a Western to Ukraine girlfriend age gap in between there. And it works well for them. So I'm not saying that it doesn't work. And I know people are probably going to be watching this video going, well, my girlfriend is 30 years age gap. And that's great. And as long as you're happy, that doesn't matter. As long as you can remain happy as you both age, that doesn't matter either. It is all about how you feel about each other, right? That's what it comes down to. But when you're searching, you have to be realistic. The more realistic you can be about your age, the faster you will be successful. If you are unrealistic, you're going to have to keep coming back and trying again and trying again. And I'll give you a perfect example. When I was on one of my tours, there was a guy there. He was about 65, 63, somewhere in that vicinity. I don't know his exact age. And he had gone on this particular tour company 5 times. 5. This was his 5th time. I picked it up straight away because he knew everything about the tour and how it was working and how everything was going. He was only wanting to date young ladies in their 20s. And I overheard some of the guys talking about him, saying, oh, he's only dating girls in their 20s. He sat down opposite me at breakfast, and I started talking to him, and I said, what are you actually looking for here? What is it that you're looking for? And he said, I'm looking for a wife, someone to take care of, all these sorts of things that all the guys all say that's the reason that you're there. And he showed me a photo on his iPad of the girl that he was going to go and meet. And she was drop dead gorgeous. I'm thinking, oh my God, not really being very realistic, right? 5th time he's been to the Ukraine on this tour company. So I said to him, have you met any ladies? Have you had a girlfriend or something from your journey over here? And he says, yes, he did have one girlfriend. And I said, what happened? And he said that he had to break up with her. And I said, wow, really? And he swiped through his iPad and he found a photo of her. And she was a very, very hot, sexy, blonde, good-looking woman. And I said, why? Why would you break up with her? And he said, well, because she had a very low sex drive. And I said, really? He said, yeah, she never wanted to have sex, and she would always come up with these excuses like, she had a period that time. And I was just sitting there going, But can you see, massive age gap like that, 30 odd something years, is she going to be wanting to have sex with this guy? Is she going to be lusting over him? What do you want? Do you want a girl that looks amazing to your friends or maybe your ex-wife or whatever, whoever you want to show her off to, but doesn't want to touch you? Doesn't want to have sex with you? Wouldn't you be better to have a girl that's closer to your age that absolutely adores you? Just some things to think about when it comes to the age bracket. For younger guys, it's not a big deal, because when you're even 40 years old, 25 all the way up to 40, that's fine. There's no issue there. It's only when you sort of start to get a little bit older that you really have to think about it. So the second one is, and it's a physical thing here, I'm not talking about personality or anything like that. The second one is attractiveness. What is your own attractiveness? One thing to point out also is that we're always going to be punching above our weight when we go to the Ukraine. We're always going to be with a girl that's most likely wouldn't be with us in our own country. In so many cases, in most cases. And that's the reason why we go there, right? We go there because we can get a hot, younger woman. It's that simple. It really is. We're guys, we're visual, we want to have a hot woman. And younger if that's what you want. So we're always going to be punching above our weight. When people use that terminology in our own country, oh, he was punching above his weight, they're usually referring to a couple that have maybe split up or that they think is going to split up. And they're going, why would she be with him, right? That's what we're thinking. That's what we always think. Let's be honest, right? So you're always going to be punching above your weight. And that's good. That's why we're doing it, right? So you have to look at your own level of attractiveness, right? And a lot of that comes down to, are you well kept? It's not necessarily as like, do I have a chiseled jawline? Is my nose not too big? Is my hair the right style? I'm not talking about that. It's, are you well kept? So think about it. Are you a healthy person? Do you care about your lifestyle? Are you in shape? Are you overweight? Do you take care of your teeth? All of these things all count towards your level of attractiveness. Okay? Now, I want to go back to what I just said before, where I said we're always going to be punching above our weight. And it's important to remember that because we are going to be punching above our weight. But even though we are punching above our weight, your level of attractiveness is going to shine through. The ladies notice things. Have you got bad nails? Do you have bad teeth? All of these things can be changed. It's important to remember that. A lot of the level of attractiveness can easily be changed and you can increase your level of attractiveness. If you are overweight, lose some weight. If you have bad teeth, just go get them fixed. If you are losing your hair and you feel as though you want to have hair to make, if that would make you more attractive. I'm not saying that it would. There's nothing wrong with bald. Some of my best friends are bald, but you can get hair, I don't know what they do. They do something anyway. I don't know, whatever it is. But you can always increase your level of attractiveness. So you can always increase your level of attractiveness and your level of appeal to the Ukrainian woman. And let's think about this for a second. We're going over there and we're looking for something that's exceptional, a complete and utter beautiful woman, right? So we need to present ourselves and put our best foot forward. Regardless of whatever age you are, you have to put your best foot forward. And it's so easy to do. We have the internet. Just Google what's stylish. How can I make my skin look better? How can I... Whatever it is that you think that you need to improve on it and put your best foot forward because what you're looking for is the best, right? And the third thing that I believe is important when it comes to being realistic is what is your goal in life? Okay? What I'm talking about is, are you looking to have children or more children? Do you want a lady that has no children? Are you looking for a lady to stay at home? Are you looking for a lady to go out and work? All of these things are your goals in a relationship. Now, your goals have to be in line with a lady's goals, or either the two of you have to compromise. And I'll just give you an example. Let's just say that you are 60 years old and you are looking for and you don't want to have children, and you are looking for a girl who is in her early 20s. It's not going to work. It's common sense, right? It's not going to work. I'm not saying it would never work, and I never say that. What I'm saying is that it's not likely to happen. She's going to want to have kids. You don't want to have kids. Maybe your kids have grown up and you don't want to have any more, and all you're looking for is like a young, beautiful girl that can just hang out with you and have sex and do whatever it is that you want to do. That's not realistic, okay? It's not realistic. So you're going to have to compromise, okay? She may want to have kids. Maybe you're too old to have kids. In this goal here, age is going to be the factor, okay? And the same goes with vice versa. Maybe she's already had kids and doesn't want to have any more kids. Maybe you don't have kids and you want to have kids. Well, someone's going to have to compromise somewhere in order to make that relationship work. I'm not saying it's not going to work, but somebody's going to have to compromise somewhere. So you need to be realistic about your goals. If you're 40 and you're looking for a 35-year-old, then in your game plan, you need to think to yourself, well, she may have a couple of young children already, or one already. So by going out there and saying, I don't want to have a girlfriend who has no kids, it may be so that you're not being realistic. Now, I'm not saying these things because I want you to settle for something that's not perfect for you. Because when I went on this journey, I was fussy. I didn't want to have a girlfriend who had young kids because I thought it was going to be hard. I wanted a girlfriend that would have the ability to speak English with me. But as I went through my journey, I realized that some of these things are not that important. And if I had to, for some reason, had to go and do it again, I would probably reassess some of those things because some of those things are not as important. The English language speaking part, I always knew that she would learn. So that wasn't a huge thing for me. And I've explained in some other videos that some of the best dates I had were with girls that couldn't speak any English. So I don't believe that the English speaking thing is a big thing as well. But when you're going on this journey, it's important to find what I call the sweet spot. Okay? Because you can just keep searching and searching and searching and going back and back and back, trying to find that perfect girl. And at some point in time, you're going to go, maybe I need to sort of like expand that area of success, that sweet spot as I like to call it. I've seen so many guys on these tours with the first tour, the second tour they went, not so much with the third tour because they were all young, but with these bigger tours with older guys that are unrealistic. Look at like 60-year-old men looking for 20-year-old girlfriends. And I see them and I watch them and I think if you were just more realistic, it just opens up so many possibilities for you. But they are stuck in their ways because the marketing that has been presented to them says that 25 years, not a problem. Easy peasy, just come over. There's heaps of them and they'll just go. Wrong. There are some success stories with these huge age gaps, but these are not normal. This is not typical. It can happen, but it's not typical. And if you are looking for that, your search is going to take longer. I'm not saying that you shouldn't look for that if that's what you really want, but it's like a needle in a haystack. If you're more realistic and you are just looking for love, like true love, then you'll look anywhere. It doesn't matter. I could find my true love who could be 2 years older than me, 5 years older than me. If that person is right for me, that person is right for me. And that's what you need to think about. Instead of saying, I only want to date girls in their 20s, or I only want to date girls that can speak English, or girls that are blonde, or something like that. It's about being realistic. We have to understand that all the girls don't want to get the hell out of the Ukraine. So straight away, the pool of women has gone smaller. And in that pool of women is the dream wife. So it is something just to think about that don't buy into this whole the women just want to run away. They want to get the hell out of there. Whatever it is. Just go there thinking to yourself that you're looking for your soulmate, which will start with an attraction and then build off that. That's all you need to think about. Believe me when I tell you, you'll end up with a girl that's younger than you, that is way more hotter than any girl that you would have ever thought would end up with you. And you're going to be definitely 100% punching above your weight. And it's awesome. But just remember to be realistic and just forget about all the crap that you've been sold before. And you will be successful.